me. I know, but why am I not allowed to agree with the infamous, interdicted, woman beater police officer's plea to a criminal charge of assault? Is it because I lead the woman to seek justice? Well, to avoid a civil suit against Midland Savings and in compensation for the punches, trauma, and embarrassment, we just closed a rather generous deal that removes her from the kiosk to owning a brand new house and from the streets, hawking toffee to a woman now with multiple bank accounts. Yes, her worries no longer include how to feed her family and provide health care for the 2-month-old baby. Her 270 CD savings account now holds a 6-figure sum. Her dilemma is simply deciding what dignified trade to invest in. Patience is certainly overflowing with gratitude for the opportunity of a dignified life for herself and dependents. But here is my worry. He pleaded not guilty in court. What is there to change the ocular proof that enraged all who saw the assault and shouted for justice? Don't tell me a lawyer is not supposed to agree or disagree with Fred Amano's plea. Okay, I am writing or speaking now only in my other professional capacity as a reasonable human being who fears God above and has a conscience that is not seared by virtue of my legal training and practice. We are only human and fallible. There is nothing wrong in admitting guilt and mitigating. An accused who conducts himself in such sincerely remorseful way is also deserving of leniency, and that is the criminal jurisprudence. In so doing, we avoid wasting everybody's time. The state and the court could channel such resources and energy into some productive ventures. I've heard really good things about Scala and how he was simply totally out of character on this occasion. Like the victim, I am prepared to forgive and hope the criminal justice system does not make him suffer what is more than adequate to deter and reform. He certainly has lost his job and he has a wife and children. Maybe he will change his plea at his next appearance because a defense of, quote, use of force for preservation of order, unquote, in the exercise of his official duties under the law will be a huge gamble. In fact, the police may be accused of seeking to protect their own by preferring merely a misdemeanor charge of assault with an expectation he might eventually be handed a small fine and bonded to be of good behavior, or in the worst case, he might get 6 to 9 months instead of the full 3-year sentence. The prosecution is clearly aware this is not a mere assault, but assault with actual battery. They certainly know this is aggravated in degree and that Scala should be facing multiple charges, including the felony of causing harm, with the potential of 10 years in jail. It is also possible they might have contemplated and added a further charge of exposing the child, to danger. I watched them increase the charges for Lebanese Jihad Shaban for his infamous pepper assault at the restaurant. Never let anger get the better part of you. The criminal law doesn't forgive sins. So that's by way of my take.
The two parties boycotted. I was the moderator. We only dealt with the minor parties, PNC, Kusi Indum, and the independent. So What's the point?
Except that if you look at those boycotts, if you do an analysis of those boycotts, you notice that even across, there's been a tradition where those in power don't really attend. President Kufuor, even from President Rawlings' era, and all of them. That's different from the NDC's boycott. We had stated cases of bias. You remember there was also this report that the IEA put out about the vote buying and the opulent nature of the 2008 campaign. The GNA published it, other newspapers published it. When the MPP issued a statement that they didn't like that report, they recanted. The IEA really embarrassed itself. And Jim Mensah was at the forefront of that. So there's a catalogue, that, as I have said, which we'll be putting out, including the infamous Professor Kwame Nahor incident, where a report he had presented to the IEA, a page was torn out and all of that. We cannot dismiss all of these genuine concerns. And I've said that it's nothing personal. It's not that we don't like her as a person. It's not about the personality. It is about what this government has done, the precedent they have set, and the pressure that every successive government, every new government will come under from its supporters and its hawks to repeat same. And whether the silence of moral society, whether they can be silent when it happens.
I've not heard
at
you
that time.
impeach. I've not heard you impeach the competence of the people. All you have done, that I've heard you do, is to raise questions about their perceived bias.
Yes, and that is where I will stick. I do not intend to stray away from that, because we need to be fair. I've told you that this is not personal. Okay. I've told you that she's done her best.
Thank you.
At IEA.
Yeah.
Dr. Bosman-Asare, as a lecturer, I haven't heard that he's not punctual and he doesn't carry out his work as a lecturer. What I have heard from his students is that he states publicly when he comes to lectures, that's why he's MPP. He belongs to the right of the political divide. He stated publicly. Okay. I'm even aware of.
Now let's hear from Ejapa.
Yes. Of a petition by students of Dr. Bosman-Asare.
Okay. Tell us what you make of the nominations or appointments.
Well, I guess good morning.
And particularly the criticism against Jean Mensah and Dr. Bosman-Asare.
Very well. Since I joined rather late, good morning to my very good friends.
Good morning.
Of course, Uncle Kwiku Baku, and to your good self, and all the people who have taken time out to listen to us this morning. Well, the commentary was expected. The raising of issues was expected, consistent with most appointments that His Excellency the President will make. So it doesn't come as a surprise to me at all. All of a sudden, hindsight is operating today. All of a sudden, you needed to get everybody on board. Wherein lies the executive power that has been vested with the president? If he's to consult all 29 million of us before he takes a decision, which I hear Martin to be suggesting. But for me,
as candidate, he proposed that method.
Well, I do not recall, but whatever it is. You see, we have a constitution that we are working with.
Sorry, you don't want to entertain that view. It's not that you do not recall, because it's a matter of public knowledge.
No, it's fine. I'm not...
That if a party as a party itself and himself were clearly on that path, together with civil society, that there ought to be open public consultation before the appointment.
I don't have a problem.
All right.
And I'm not intended on going into a banter as to who said what.
Okay.
Of course, if we all think that that is the route to go, I'm happy to have that conversation. Because our constitution is supposed to be a living document. It needs to be reviewed as we go along. Unfortunately, when they had an opportunity to effect a comprehensive review, spent huge sums of money to to go around the country to solicit views on how to improve the document that is our supreme law. They failed to implement it. And I've heard His Excellency the President give an indication that that process would be revisited, and I hope that it is soon, so that we have clarity. We can, improve some of the things that we've all complained about over the years. But as it is, that is the law. This document, and His Excellency the President, in accordance with the provisions of the law, has gone ahead to exercise the power that the people of Ghana have vested in him. And it's interesting that, like you indicated, nobody really is questioning the competencies of the persons who have been appointed, except the issue that Martin raised, that all we've seen is paper qualification and all that. I wonder to what extent that she wants some demonstration of capacity to be provided.
I mean, writings and original thoughts, original ideas and initiatives.
Is she going to write articles at the Electoral Commission?
Oh, that's...
The functions of the Electoral Commission is clearly spelled out in the Constitution. And you need writings, articles, publications,
initiatives and ideas
to have a qualification. But of course, she's managed an institution, a credible one at that, for all these years. And if that is not enough, then I wonder what it is that you want in addition to that.
Are you worried? Questions of her potential biases that they raise, that her husband was appointed in Kufuor's administration, and she, of course, so there should be some relationship, and then suddenly we are being told about her relationship to the First Lady, and questions of, fear of capacity to manipulate, count results, so to speak, count votes.
Samson, what is the role of the Electoral Commissioner? Like you yourself said earlier, the elections are determined at the polling station, transmitted through the constituency to the district, to the region, and to the Electoral Commission's office in Accra. The only duty is to declare. You see, I get worried.
Will you have accepted?
No, wait. Of course, you appointed Mrs. Osei. She presided over an election, and you lost.
Yes.
So, what is the issue? The votes did not support your candidate's election, and so she didn't have a choice. So I'm saying that, you see, and you go back to how she was, if you like, removed, and consistent with the position that you guys have taken all along, as if to say that because people objected to her appointment at the time that we're going through that exercise.
This will be done to her.
No, of course, I'm not worried about any threats. You are threatening now. Same rule book is playing out.
No, I'm restraining the threats.
You are restraining threats.
I'm a restraining force.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Your general secretary is all over the place, saying all sorts of things. Members of your party.
But can you blame them?
Oh, I don't have a problem. Everybody is entitled to his view, and we can all talk like some of the members of my party did at the time. You recall that I have said to you that I have a challenge with how she left, if you like, a constitutionally protected office into another with the same terms and conditions. Was it a transfer? What was it?
She resigned.
I agree. She resigned. But you see,
what do you call it? Warrant of appointment.
I agree. I know. But fits into the same things that we are talking about.
So then, right.
You understand? But then again, we ought not continue to do this to ourselves as a people. If we think that the constitution that we are working with has problems, by all means, let's change it. Until then, if appointments are made in accordance with the constitution that you and I have sworn an oath to protect, that His Excellency the President has sworn an oath to protect, you say you should disregard it and do something else. How is that possible? How is that possible? The Constitution says, look, seek advice from the Council of State in accordance with Article 72 before you make appointments to offices of this nature. His Excellency the President has done exactly that. You say no. He should do broad consultations. Open and broad.
Because
come to my house and ask me,
because he
I want to appoint this. No, you see, Samson, I don't have a problem. And we can go back and forth about what he said. Mr. Mahama stuck with the provisions of the Constitution. And the matter was put to rest as far as I'm concerned. Okay?
Yeah.
So if going forward, that's the way we want to go, by all means. And Sami says what? Potentially appointing 7 commissioners of the Electoral Commission is an issue. In 1992, when we started this constitutional process, who appointed all the electoral commissioners? The political parties in this country did not work with them. Transition from a governing party to an opposition party never occurred in this country. Look, you know, and I know, that retaining power or winning an election depends on what it is that you do for the people. How they perceive the management that you are providing to them. And so, I really wonder why it is that people are raising all sorts of issues. But like I said, what else do you expect? Opposition, I guess that when we are in opposition, our role is to oppose and oppose everything that His Excellency the President does.
No,
okay.
But
otherwise, and the daily post issue that they have put across, let's interrogate it because I don't know. In any event, if the relationship was in fact the case, what's the issue?
Wow. Did you really ask that?
Yes, I asked that.
Big issue.
What's the issue?
Big deal.
Particularly when we have established here that the votes are won at the police station.
And Sami is saying it's an issue, but you, and even in your party, you have said, even if the NPP put Freddie Blay, who is the national chairman of the NPP, as EC commissioner or chairperson,
we will still win the elections. So
what's your issue?
Yeah, no, we don't have a doubt.
The perception will linger
about winning the 2020 election.
Thank you. Let's hear Kweku now. And Kweku, would you say it was very important, Abu Jinapor's intervention, that now we know that Henrietta Mensah Bonsu was not in the picture at all, and that again President Akufo-Addo did consultation, but closed door consultation?